Welcome to Design Your CEO Life. I'm your host, Shay Cannon. I have designed my CEO life to live and work my business from anywhere in the world. I started this journey in Belize. I lived in Mexico for 3 years. After that, I went to Buenos Aires, Argentina for a year and a half before coming back to my favorite little beach town of Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I am truly living my best life just 3 blocks from the Caribbean Sea. I thank you for joining me as I share conversation, stories, and strategies to help you to design your CEO life. This is episode 6. Move, B, get out the way. We're going to talk about busting through and overcoming your obstacles. Do you remember that song by Ludacris? I do. And that's exactly how I feel when obstacles are in my way. Move, get out the way, okay? And I want to start this off by saying, when it comes to overcoming obstacles, I have people that I look up to. I have people that I lean into. I call them my personal gurus, right? And one of those personal gurus is Mel Robbins, and that's a woman, not a man. Okay. And one of the things that she says is that motivation is BS. Yes, it's BS. Okay. Because you're not always motivated to do what you need to do. There is too much inconsistency if you are hinging everything on you being motivated to get it done, okay? Because motivation tends to fluctuate. One day you feel highly driven and can take on the world, and the next day you struggle to even get out of bed, okay? So the inconsistency can make it challenging for you to maintain or even get started with those goals that you have, right? It's an obstacle, lack of motivation. We're getting into it now. Time to take off the glasses so you know I'm serious, right? So, Mel Robbins has a book and it's called The 5 Second Rule. And I love this book. I love the 5 second rule. Let me tell you how it goes. You don't feel like doing something, right? You're not looking forward to the day. You're laying in the bed. You've hit that snooze button about 3 times and you know you should be up by now. 5 second rule. All you do is count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get your butt up out that bed, okay? Now, let me tell you why it works. Because especially if you're American, but it's a global thing, right? When someone hears a countdown, psychologically what happens is your body gets ready for something to happen. It gets ready for an action just automatically. It's ingrained in us. It's in our programming, right? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, something's supposed to happen, right? So that's when you launch into getting up out of the bed, get out of the chair, go through the door, go to the gym, go on a walk, whatever you need to do. When you get down to that 0, which is you don't even say 0, you have the action is the 0, you get it done, right? We have to get it done. We don't wait on motivation to get things done. Let's go ahead and just get it done. So if you have to use that 5 second rule, hey, feel free to buy the book to learn all about the psychology, but I just told you what the rule is and I want you to use it, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get it done. Let's get started, all right? Because we're not always motivated, all right? Now let's talk about motivation is an obstacle to us getting done what we want to get done, but you know what else is an obstacle? Especially with me in my age, and if you're in my age group, you're Gen X. However, no matter who you are, energy can be an obstacle, or should I say lack thereof, right? So not having energy to get things done can be an obstacle. But let me tell you how the great thing about not having energy is that energy can be generated. Did you realize you can generate your own energy? Yes, energy can be generated because energy is not destroyed, it is just transferred. Okay? So if you need some energy transferred to you, you can generate it. Now, on one of our past episodes, I asked you to create a happiness list. And I'm going to act like you've created that list. I'm going to act like you did your homework, okay? But on that list are just everyday things that make you happy, right? Well, guess what? When you do things that make you happy, you generate energy. You see where we're going now, right? So you can generate energy by listening to music. right? That listening to music can lead to another thing that generates energy. Movement generates energy, right? So you hear music that could generate energy, and guess what that can do? That can get you started rocking. It can get you started dancing, and guess what dancing do? That's a movement. It generates energy. But you can do a movement as easy as take a walk, right? Just take a quick walk. Go outside, take a walk. It doesn't even have to be. It could be around the neighborhood. It could be around the house. Okay. Sunshine generates energy. Did you know that? That good old natural vitamin D generates energy. Okay. So you can go and stand out in the sun in your yard and just bask in the sun for a moment. Here in Mexico, we have rooftops. So I love to go on the rooftop. Our pool is actually on the rooftop. So I love to go up there and stand and get some sun. I actually do content on my rooftop almost every morning. So I get a little of that sunshine every morning to get my day going. Okay. Gratitude, getting an attitude of gratitude, starting to feel thankful for things. You know what that does? It builds up energy. All right. What about getting social? Right? You don't feel like you have the energy to do something? Call up a friend, meet them somewhere, and have a nice conversation. Go laugh, go people watch. Okay. Something else that can give you energy is getting rid of things that suck away energy. Okay, that could be people too. But what about the clutter around you? Right? It's hard to do what you got to do and have the energy to do it when everything around you is so cluttered. That is an energy vampire. Okay, so declutter, that can generate some energy. Okay, it's also probably some movement in there while you're decluttering. Another thing you can do to generate energy is a creative outlet. Last episode, we talked about creativity being very important. But if you don't find a creative outlet, I'm going to say find one. Okay. I'm not going to say you don't find one. Find one. And it can be something very simple. Like I told you, I like to color. And now you don't even need coloring books and crayons. Like I have an app on my iPad where I can use my iPencil and just, my Apple Pencil and color. It's soothing and it generates an energy for me. Right. And what about just being in a positive environment? Going to be around kids laughing, going and you can go to your animal shelter and play with puppies, or if you have a dog, play with a dog, right? Going and volunteering and helping other people generates an energy. You can generate energy. So not having the energy to do things, no longer an excuse or an obstacle. Okay. Now let's just talk about generally, how do you overcome obstacles, right? Because obstacles are everywhere, right? You want to do something and all of a sudden you can't get it done because of whatever reason. You want to have something but you can't have it for whatever reason. You want to go somewhere but you can't go for whatever reason. All of these things. And most of the things that are stopping us are temporary things. They're not even things that are permanent obstacles. Most things we just have to be resituated or have a plan to overcome. Okay? So just because you meet some resistance when you go to do something doesn't mean it cannot be done. So I want to, even though I've given you a few skill sets, right? I want to just tackle obstacles in and of themselves. Okay? What do you do when you have an obstacle? How do you overcome it? The first thing I want you to do, identify what the obstacle actually is. Do you know sometimes we get ready to do something and we feel resistance and then we just stop right there? We're like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to do that. Oh, I guess that's a sign. Oh, I guess that's harder than I thought it was going to be. Oh, I guess that means I can't do it. That's not what that means. Okay? It simply means, first of all, let's identify where the resistance is coming from. What actually is the obstacle? Sometimes we're our own obstacle, right? Last episode, I talked all about how we treat ourselves badly. Getting in our own way of success is another way of treating yourself badly. So if you're the obstacle, you can overcome that, okay? So identify what the actual obstacle is. You know what I've been paying close attention to lately? I told y'all last episode, I'm working on procrastination so that I can show up with ease in my excellence, because that's really what it is. But I pay attention to when I procrastinate. I pay attention to okay, what is the obstacle that's in the way that's making me procrastinate? Is it because I don't want to do the thing? Is it because it feels like it's going to take too much for me to do the thing? Is it because in the future, maybe I should get help doing the thing, right? I will tell you, even doing things like video, I know I look beautiful on this show. I understand. But I have all kind of glasses for a reason. Because as I have started to age and I started getting under eye, I don't even know. It's not even bags. It seems like it's sinking because of my cheekbones are so high. So in between my cheekbones and my eye, it's like a sinking part, right? And it casts kind of a shadow because it is sinking. And so it makes me look dark under the eyes. I'm also getting crow's feet. So it makes me not want to do video, right? And what we know is as entrepreneurs, we have to be content creators. And video is the best kind of content we can create. So to get myself out of saying, oh, my eyes are an obstacle to me doing video because I don't like the way I look when I see the video, I got a bunch of glasses to overcome the obstacle. But first, I had to identify what is making me pause every time I turn the camera on myself. Identify the actual obstacle is step one, because it may not be a real obstacle at all. Okay. My eyes, really, I understand. We are our own worst critics. It's a part of how we do ourselves badly, right? But what somebody else doesn't see and you see, it still becomes an issue for you. So you have to find a way to get over it, right? And it's not just ignore it because it's bothering you, and that bother is not going to go away. So yes, we have to do affirmations. I am beautiful. My eyes are beautiful. I still don't want to see them with how they don't they used to didn't look when I was younger. So I have glasses and now I love them, right? So identify the obstacle is step one. The next thing is going to be shift your mindset. The mind is so powerful. How you think about things is going to determine the outcome every time. Every time. If you think it's an obstacle that cannot be overcome, then you will not overcome it. If you think it is something that is going to be hard, then yes, it's going to be hard. If you think it's something that's going to take a long, long time, then yes, it's going to take a long time. You have to check your mindset, because your mindset is really setting the stage for your success. So always shift your mind to a positive aspect. Always understand that an obstacle can be overcome. You can be successful. You can do it with ease, right? And you can do it in a timely manner. And those are just a few examples. But shift your mind to what empowers you to get it done. All right? Step 3, break down the problem. We've identified what the problem is, right? We've got the right mindset about it. Now let's break down the problem. Okay. If it's a huge problem, then what we know is it probably can't be solved in one foul swoop. Okay. So we probably have multiple steps to solve the problem. So what are our steps? Right. So when we look at it, what is going to be our strategy to solve the problem? Then we're going to develop a plan. Okay? We're going to develop a plan because we found the steps, right? And now we need the plan of execution. And you know what you need for that plan? Resources. Resources. Now, this is where it comes in, where different people may solve the same problem differently. Why? Sometimes it boils down to resources. Sometimes they have access to people that you don't have access to. Sometimes they have access to money you don't have access to. They have access to tools you don't have access to. They might have access to a number of things that you don't have access to. So guess what? You can't follow their plan because you don't have what they had to be successful with overcoming the obstacle. This is where you got to stop looking on other people's paper, looking on other people's plate, okay? And you have to look at what do you have, okay? What is it going to take and what do you have, all right? Now, once we know what we have, we look at what are we lacking, right? What do we still need and how can we go and get it? And again, it may not look the way other people have done it, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. Go back to that mindset, right? So I run into this a lot, even with business, right? You can grow your business any number of ways, but you're keeping your eye on that business that you just admire so much. And you see them doing this and you see them doing that. And it makes you get smaller and smaller and smaller because you feel like you can't do that. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. What can you do? Right? What ways can you grow your business? What are your strengths? Stop looking at what your weakness is, because if that's your weakness, don't worry about it. What are your strengths? Let's start there. And then if there's a weakness that you have that is definitely needed, we can't go without it, then we're going to strengthen that weakness. But resources make all the difference for overcoming obstacles. Okay? What technology do you need? What people source resources do you need? All the things. Figure out what you need. And then we're going to figure out what we have and how we can get the things that we're lacking. Okay? Or what can we do with what we have? Okay? Sometimes you can use what you have and get to a certain point, and now you're further along with the goal. And what may happen is now obstacles may be relieved because you're in line to get some resources you didn't have when you started. So some of y'all need to stop waiting until you have everything you need and get started going through the plan step by step. Do you have what you need for step 1? Then let's do step 1. Do you have what you need for step 2? Let's do step 2. Right? Sometimes it takes you getting on the path for what you need to be revealed to you. Have you ever heard of the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear? Yeah, a teacher is a resource. Did you know that? So if you get on the path of doing, your resources could appear. It's like the universe is meeting you where you are to get you where you want to be. Okay? Resources. Okay? So next thing I want you to do is, before you even get started, I want you to visualize success. This is an important step, right? This is a very important step. Close your eyes. Go through the steps. See yourself doing the steps. See yourself using the resources that you need. See yourself having everything that you need. And see yourself actually succeeding with the goal. Visualize. I know it sounds woo-woo. I know it sounds like that's not important. How could it be? Well, let me tell you. The neuroscience says once we start wiring and firing these synapses and things together, nerves together in our head like we've done it, it actually becomes easier because we feel like we have experience, right? Because we've done it in our head. And so our brain doesn't know the difference between visualization and us actually doing it physically. So visualization is way more important than you give it credit for, okay? Now it's time to execute, right? So I want you to execute, but I also want you to remember your humanity. So execute with the expectation to succeed, but also with the expectation that you will learn lessons and have to pivot, okay? We are not perfect beings. We are imperfect. The things that we do are going to be imperfect. And guess what? That is okay. You don't have to be perfect to get it done, right? In fact, I have a business coach that says done is better than perfect, because you doing it and doing it is going to give you information to make you better, to do it again, to get a better result. Stop thinking, and I think it's only been since social media got out here where everything that you put has to be the best and you have to be good at it the first time or you don't show it. Because when you grew up, you know what you were told? You were told practice makes perfect. That's what you were told. And you were told that because it is known that when you first attempt things, you are less likely to be good at it when you first attempt it. You are less likely to be successful when you first attempt it. So your goal is to practice. We out here on iPhone 1 million, but you think the first time you do something, it's supposed to be perfect. It's not. In fact, your whole idea of entrepreneurship might just be wrong, because entrepreneurship is all about trial and error, not perfection. It's about putting things out there, getting the data, making data-driven decisions to make it better when you put it back out there. So when you are overcoming obstacles to get to your goal, you have to understand you may not be perfect. The odds are that you are not going to be perfect. You're not going to get it right the first time. Your job is to learn the lessons, look at the data, pivot, the best way to get it right the next time, or the next time, and the next time. Okay? Now, your next step is going to be to keep your eye on the goal. Okay? I want you to be married to the goal, not the process. We just said that you're going to have to learn how to pivot, right? Don't be married to a process. Well, my plan said I take these steps and these steps weren't working. And so, I can't achieve the goal. That's not what that means. Okay? You're married to the goal, not the steps to get there. The steps can change. Just don't change your goal. Don't give up on the goal. Okay? Very important step. Last but not least, I want you to have a plan to manage your stress during this process. Okay? Going against obstacles in and of itself can cause stress. But you can alleviate that stress, especially if you have a plan, right? I love to gamify things. So in my plans, I have milestones all along the way. And at each milestone, I'm going to celebrate, okay? Because guess what celebration does? Relieve stress, okay? I'm going to put a treat in there for myself, some kind of something just for me that's going to reinvigorate me, okay? Remember, you can generate your own energy. So sometimes what you put in there might just be a little celebration dance, okay? It might be that ice cream that you want, or in my case, I love some gelato because I'm lactose intolerant, but I love gelato, right? So I love a nice little walk to the beach with some gelato. That's a nice little celebration for getting done one of my milestones that's a part of the plan. Have a plan to manage your stress ahead of time, because what we know is overcoming obstacles is work, and sometimes it can be hard, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it, and it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it along the way. So what could be your plan for success? I would love to hear from you, that when you take on a project to meet a goal, what could be a plan for success for managing your stress, right? Could it be, let's say, a weekly massage, right? Could it be going to a concert at a certain point in the project? Could it be maybe you can even do a movie marathon of your favorite movies? Or you know what I like to do sometimes? I love to do some of my favorite stand-up comedy, right? So recently I did do a movie marathon of the what was it? The Temple of Doom. What is his name? Indiana Jones. I did all of the movies back to back to back, right? But I also like to do like maybe all of Cat Williams stand-up, or I like Sebastian Maniscalco. I love some different comedians. It's just my thing. It's on my happiness list, right? So you can actually put some happiness in this project to help you to manage the stress all along the way. Okay? So I hope that you understand that overcoming obstacles is a part of life. And as you're designing your life, you will come into contact with obstacles, but you can be successful. You can eat obstacles for breakfast. I am a CEO. That's why I have designed my CEO life. However, I provide award-winning fractional COO services to an exclusive clientele of 6 and 7-figure CEOs. I've been featured in Time Magazine, Delta Airlines, Thrive Global, and more. But what I love, what my passion is my coaching, where I help solo and entrepreneurs to stop spinning their wheels and struggling to get to their first 6 figures in business. So if that is you, I'd like to invite you to my free group where we build community, we create collaborations, and we have conversations to provide you with transformational business growth. Go to shaycannon.info/group. I don't know why I always messed that up. shaycannon.info/group. Okay, GROUP, and join us. Well, that's all for this episode. It's been a pleasure having you to tune in. So, CEO, go design a life worth living. Bye for now.